What's going on, everybody? My name is Lucas, and today we are back for episode 2 of my self-imposed challenge to play every game in my over 1,000 game Steam library. Just like last time, I'll be rating each game as I go on how much I think they're actually worth playing or coming back to. Today we'll be playing every game from the Alien franchise currently available on Steam, so get your motion trackers ready, and let's get into it. First up, we have Alien Isolation. This one takes place 15 years after the original movie, in the year 2137. You're playing as Ellen Ripley's daughter Amanda, on a mission to find the black box from the Nostromo in hopes of finding out what happened to her mother. This game is awesome. There is an insane level of ambiance here, and it does a great job of feeling true to the original film. The attention to detail is incredible. The xenomorph feels very sophisticated in this game, which makes the player feel like they are truly in danger at all times. On top of that, the threat of working Joe androids and even other humans keeps the player on their toes and in a nearly constant state of semi-alert panic. I will say though, once you get access to the flamethrower, you can kind of bully the xenomorph, which can be pretty amusing, but that'll only get you so far. Alien Isolation never lets you feel too overpowered. This game feels great to play, and I love the way it expands on the lore and history of the Alien franchise. It is genuinely a tense and thrilling experience that stays true to the universe it's set in. 9 out of 10. Next up, let's talk about a much less beloved Alien title, Aliens Colonial Marines. And in all honesty, so far this game is actually pretty fun. The game handles pretty well, and it's not nearly as bad as people made it out to be around the time of its release. The acting in it is pretty good so far, and I like the progression system. As you play, you level up and use upgrade points to buy attachments for your guns, allowing you to customize the feel and performance of your favorite weapons. The weapon variety is also pretty decent. I also enjoyed the mission variety. For instance, there's a pretty good stealth section where you're making your way through some flooded tunnels, avoiding xenomorphs, some of which are incredibly still, and seem to be just husks. If they detect you though, they'll chase you down and explode on top of you, which in itself is pretty startling. I found myself enjoying it up until the mech loader fight, which I thought would be awesome, but turned out to be tedious and janky. The giant xenomorph takes way too many hits, and it is incredibly easy to just be killed by the tiny fast-moving drones. I found the best way to win in this fight was to stunlock the alien in a corner where the drones don't bother you for some reason, and even then, I got lucky when I actually beat him. It felt far from badass, which is just a shame. It was such a wasted opportunity to make the player feel really cool. The best I can give this game is a 6.5 out of 10. I do want to finish it, but some of the jank really soured the experience for me. Next, I want to talk about a much more recent game, Aliens Fireteam Elite. This is a very fun, squad-based multiplayer third-person shooter. It feels like Left 4 Dead, only much better in my opinion, with a more interesting setting. You can also play solo with bots, which is great for the game's longevity. I also enjoy that even with other players, it's paced well enough that one teammate can't just run ahead triggering all the dialogue and ruin the level for you, like I've experienced in a lot of other online co-op run-and-gun shooters. There's some hidden intel to find that helps flesh out some more of the lore, which I'm always a fan of. One thing I have to criticize is that they didn't even bother to animate characters' mouths moving, but I suppose the game knows what it's trying to be and decided that's really not important in the overall context of the game. However, it is pretty immersion breaking. I also find that most of the time the best way to get through the majority of encounters is to find a choke point and secure it, which can get old. This may change as the game progresses, I don't really know, I hope it does, but regardless, I had a good time with this one, and I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Next up, we're going back to the year 2000 with Alien vs. Predator Classic. This is a really interesting first-person shooter. This game consists of 3 separate campaigns where you play as a xenomorph, a colonial marine, and a predator. The first campaign on the list is the Alien campaign, which I think is a questionable choice because playing as the Xenomorph can be quite disorienting, albeit very interesting. The level design feels odd because it's as if the place wasn't built with any practical purpose in mind, or at least no purpose a human such as myself can quite make sense of. You see, as a Xenomorph, you can hold the control key to seamlessly climb on the walls and ceilings, which means the developers were free to design the most convoluted levels they could think of. And the best part is, there is no map, and when you die, you are sent back to the start of the level, and it is very, very easy to die as a Xenomorph. A highly flammable Xenomorph. There is one room with a clear purpose, and that is the alien hamster wheel. Woo! Hamster wheel! You can just keep going and going on this thing. This is great. Man, it never gets old. We're still going. This game also has some of the best uber corny FMV videos. I love them.
Damn! You throw all 5 switches? The main gate hasn't budged. You need a bypass key. The engineer had one. Might still be on it. His body is in med lab on level 2. Got that? Level 2.
The Colonial Marines campaign is a lot more comprehensible, and feels like a normal FPS of the era. What I played of it was pretty decent. Predator campaign is actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the Predator campaign because it was fast-paced and had the most variety in terms of weapons and tools at your disposal. It also had the best level design. I would say start with either the Predator campaign or the Colonial Marines, and then do the Alien later. Compared to other shooters at the time, this game is quite unique and has a lot of variety to offer. This one's getting another 7 out of 10. And next, we've got Aliens vs. Predator. This one's from 2010. And while its vibe is on point, some of its voice acting really isn't.
Requesting backup. There's some weird shit in here.
Connor, I can give you one man. He's a little clumsy, but he's a Xeno killer, all right. Proceed to the club and give him some fire support.
I think that's mostly due to the game having a silent protagonist, which I'm not a fan of. I think it was a bad decision, and I think that contributed to the lackluster performances of the other voice actors, since they had nothing to react to and build from. Aside from that, the game is actually pretty good. Just like in the last one, we've got 3 separate campaigns for each species, each about 5 hours long. The Colonial Marines campaign was fun. I played through the whole campaign in one sitting, and felt pretty satisfied when I was done. The Predator and Alien are both fun to play as. The Predator is slightly less fun than an AVP 2000, but the Xenomorph is definitely more fun, with more interesting mechanics. I'll definitely be going back to finish the Alien campaign. Oddly, there's no crouching in the game, and the jump is pitiful for the Marines, and weird for the Predator and Xenomorph. Despite the negatives, I really enjoyed this one so far. It had some interesting lore, and I'm pretty likely to come back and finish the other campaigns. 7.5 out of 10. And lastly, we'll wrap things up with the most recently released game, Aliens Dark Descent. It's quite a lot like XCOM, however, it uses real-time with pause combat and has better stealth mechanics. It also has a better storyline than what I've played of XCOM Enemy Unknown, and it's a franchise that I'm an absolute sucker for. It feels like one of those just one more turn type of games. However, in this case, it's more like just one more objective or one more room. I love the variety of tactics you can employ. Hiding from Xenomorphs can feel very, very tense, and fighting them can feel very satisfying. I like the pause for special attacks plus the extra planning time that affords you, which feels almost like Mass Effect's combat in a way.
Tango down! Squad.
I like the variety in upgrades and promotions you can set your team up with, and I can't wait to see how they develop throughout the game. To get around the map quickly and safely, you can utilize the ARC troop transport. While you're in this thing, the Xenomorphs can't get you, and will be gunned down automatically by the transport's turret. It's a great addition that makes the game feel a lot less tedious when working your way through a map, and it can be very fun to see Xenomorphs walk into its line of sight. The cutscenes are very well done, and I'm intrigued by the plotline so far. I want to keep playing this. This game is great. 9 out of 10. I love it, and I'm going to finish it.
Hurry up, squad! Good job, squad. That was the last.
I had a good time with these games. A lot of them were better than I expected them to be, especially Colonial Marines. I'd be interested to hear about your experiences with these games in the comment section. As always, remember to like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. See you in the next one!